I don't think a modern microbiologist, if you combine his knowledge with that of a mathematician, could really work it out in the abstract using the biggest computers. I don't think we could do it yet, but we can conceive that there might be somebody who knows enough to work out the action of a gene, what it will do, what its corresponding protein will do. And therefore I have to say to myself, is it possible that the whole 40,000 were worked out? Or perhaps more than 40,000 if you include all the species we have around us, and that the Earth was simply drenched by genes in the first place, and they've simply been getting together and producing various larger scale structures as time has gone on. That's what they call evolution, but the evolution is not of the genes at all. The genes are simply a cosmic phenomenon. And if they are a cosmic phenomenon, then you have to ask the question, as with the Dirac equation, was this worked out by somebody, or was it, did it just happen by chance? Which is really the same thing as saying, did the universe happen by chance, isn't it? If somebody handed you a blueprint of all the genes that you needed and all the detailed amino acids, that's exactly what the biologists claim they've done now, isn't it? That they've found what this blueprint is. If you were handed that blueprint to start with, then there's a chance that with sufficient time and energy and money, a creature of our intelligence could construct it in the lab. Well, what you would do is you would make your calculations, and you'd make quantities of the stuff and put together the individual genes and launch them on the universe, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd have a system that gets them around. The gene is just about the size of a particle that will ride on the light waves of stars, be pushed around all over the place, and you just launch them and let them get together as they would. What one can establish from that is the phenomenon of an intrinsic redshift exists. That seems to me to be the Achilles heel.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I took this ARP-220 pair into the resident expert on gravitational lenses at Max Planck, and well, I didn't show it to him. I just asked him. I said, I have two quasars that are 15 arc minutes apart, with a galaxy in the center. Can this be a gravitational lens? And he said, he started calculating in his head, and he said, well, no, he said it would have to have a dispersion of 600 or 700 kilometers per second, and that would be too much, and he said that couldn't be a gravitational lens. And then he said, "Did you say 15 arc minutes?" He said, "I thought you said 15 arc seconds."
I was going to say, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's right.
so I guess that settles that.
Yeah, obviously not. But what one gets round to it in relation to the state of science in the United States is the creationist argument, isn't it? If there's any intervention by an intelligence in the system, then in a way this supports the creationist case, although it's not at all the form in which they state it themselves. The form in which they state it is stupid. I mean, we know it's desperately wrong.
With an 8,000-year time scale.
I mean, it's absolutely madness to go on with ages of 10,000 years or whatever. I mean, only people that were off their heads could go on with that sort of idea. But it still could be the case. I mean, just as you said yesterday, you have a creationist universe in the Big Bang. It's very difficult to avoid some place putting in that idea, isn't it? But the worst aspects, I think, are the science magazines. I don't take science, so I can't give you a rundown on what I think of science, but I think I think nature is very negative. I think we would be better off without it.
Mm.
And the New Scientist isn't a science magazine at all. It's just a collection of speculations. It isn't worth taking.
Well, I do read Science magazine regularly, and I say that it's almost as bad as Nature, which is very bad.
Well, I would think that the pressures are such that it's got to be. It's run by a staff that has got altogether inflated ideas of its own quality. It thinks it's a leading bastion of science, that sententious. It's even given to writing its opening articles, its editorials, ticking off governments for what they should do and what they shouldn't do. It's dreadful.
And
there's no humility about them at all.
So what is the solution to that problem? That's the magazine, which is the interdisciplinary link, and also the link to some extent to the public through the media. So, and if it's failing...
But I tell you, in the end, Chip, the universe will have its say.